You're listening to REIA Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out REIARadio.com. Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown, episode 255 with Owen, Dashner, and Kaasch. It is so fun being able to bring a national speaker into town and right here in Omaha and have him at the desk with us.
He was great, man. I'm kind of glad I didn't get to go to the Omaha REIA event last night for the sole reason of I got to hear him fresh.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that I probably missed last night, I got to just dig into and never have heard it before. So selfishly, I'm probably glad that happened in the interest of giving an awesome podcast. But I am bummed I missed it because that would have been fun to see him in person.
Yeah, it was a great presentation. He definitely captured the audience, and Omaha represented well for last night.
So we're talking about David Pickron, who is coming up on Wednesday's podcast episode, and David hails from Phoenix, Arizona area. Started in the eviction and background check and criminal PI work. That was how he got started in the whole business of investment real estate. Eventually got into owning rentals himself and eating his own cooking, and then started basically a full service or a platform where it encompasses not just the background check components, but also, full blown leasing and property management. Mm-hmm. And which is called Rent Perfect, which sounds like a really kick-ass type of a platform. Instead of getting the instant background checks that aren't very detailed and don't really dig much deeper than the surface level of 6 months ago court records, his approach is really unique in that. So really cool dude. I mean, I said, I want to keep this to an hour before I met him. I was giving Ted the what for this morning, and then we ended up doing an hour and 40 minutes with him, which is great content.
It is packful. I mean, there was
really good stuff. Yeah, you guys are going to love Wednesday's episode. If you own any type of rental properties, tune into that one. You do not want to miss it.
So you and I have had a very interesting, exciting, but different for us week.
We diverged. We went to separate sides of the country. You were down in New Orleans, Nolens, and I had Vegas, baby, again. Man, about 1 year later, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a huge takeaway, which I'll be talking about soon, from going to the National REIA event with a business idea that I'm going to propose. So there was this one big takeaway for me. But in the same boat, I was also kind of struggling making some connections because many of the REIA owners around the country are quite a bit older than I am, 20, 30 years.
Ted, that's ageism.
Yeah, it is. And so I really struggled, with some connections, but I did meet some really good people. I met a group out of New York. Shout out to Vlad, Rebecca, and Kayla. I had a great time with them, and then created some little circles in the night. There was one speaker, and one thing that was really fun, he's like, do your life story in 60 seconds. So we're all doing it inside the room and going back and forth. And it was all about creating your core values in the end. In that, we started doing 60-second, I probably did 60-second life stories with 25 people over the weekend, and all the way till 3 and 4 in the morning sometimes.
Shocker.
Yeah, right. And so I remember I met this girl, Jen, and we were doing a big circle of people in there. We kept on asking everybody. And then also it led into when I was at the dinner with the New Yorkers, we kept on stimulating conversations. The questions I was asking the table as a whole, after we all did our 60 seconds, we started asking, I'm like, oh, what's your failing forward? If you had a podcast, what would you start? So they opened up some different conversations when they never heard the podcast. And so it opened up these great conversations that went on for hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was fun and different.
So you were podcasting with no mics, basically.
Totally. I'm pretty sure I had my plot on the whole time.
Did you really?
Yes.
Have you downloaded all of it yet?
I started doing all that.
There's probably a lot.
Yeah, my plot keeps on going dead.
I think plods should not be allowed in Vegas, personally.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that was so fun. 4 days in Vegas is officially my limit. That was a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But man, I had an awesome time. You would definitely have FOMO if you knew everything that happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What insight can you give us though? And what were some I know you got to see Chris Voss, which I'm I'm so upset.
Well, yeah, and in fact, I have a 3-pack of golden nuggets I'm going to sprinkle today that are straight from the man's mouth.
Are you going to drop a golden nugget throughout this conversation? You want to give your first one right now and do another one later?
Well, I don't feel like I owe you anything here. I can.
Just dropped it. You got 3.
I can do this however I want, and you're going to wait and see.
Okay.
How about that?
Man, all you old guys are the same.
Hey, see if they're ageism again. But no, I will tell you probably. So here's generally what happens. So like Bigger Pockets, BP Con is really geared toward newer investors, right? Would you agree with that?
I totally.
So there's 1,500, 2,000 attendees at these things. They've been in 5 or 6 different cities. Going back to Orlando, by the way, they did the big reveal. So we're going to have LobbyCon again, probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's going to be the location next year. So I think everybody was a little underwhelmed on that. They did a big reveal, and they like threw a T-shirt out into the crowd.
Yeah.
And whoever caught it got to go up on stage and announce where the location of the next BPCon was.
So
and everybody's like, yay.
Orlando again?
Slow clap. Yeah, Orlando again. I know. I was expecting like Miami or like, I don't know, somewhere.
Why would you
different.
Why would you guys take it back?
Beats me. But anyway, my point is, how like those are typically geared toward newer investors. So, the episodes are going to be like how to get started in, buying rental properties, or like how to go from rentals to multifamily, or, single family to multifamily, and like that type of stuff. So I've gotten to the point where attending those sessions are not really valuable for me, because I'm just sitting there silent for 45 minutes or an hour, hour and a half. And I get
nobody puts Owen in the corner.
No, that's right. I get a lot more value about, hanging out, networking, and meeting people, and just trying to find some really key conversations and spend some quality time with people. That's my jam. So I probably only went, I would say, including the couple keynotes, I probably went to, 4 or 5. I kind of ducked into a few and checked them out. But I will tell you, probably my favorite of all, aside from Chris Voss, he was great, but my favorite little session that I went to was a breakout, but it was on the main stage, and it was Brian Burke, who anybody that knows anything about multifamily syndications probably knows who he is. Longtime BP contributor, well-known syndicator, really respected in the community. He was basically sitting on a couch next to Rich and Kathy Fetke, who also do multifamily syndications. And then they had an LP, so a limited partner, a guy that invests in other people's deals, and he's done over 100 of them. So a very, very, very experienced limited partner in multiple real estate deals and syndications. He got up and sat on the couch, and it was a total, like, Brian got to pitch what his latest fund is or his latest syndication. Rich and Kathy pitched theirs, and his job was to poke holes in it. So he got to give his, like, rebuttal. Yeah. And he was like, well, what about this? Or like, how do you handle this? Or like, and then at the very end, he gave a thumbs up or thumbs down. Would I invest in this? Would I not invest in this? And it was really interesting. And then they gave the crowd, because it was more geared toward LPs, right? Mm-hmm. And it was, if we're honest here, it was probably a little bit of a pitch fest for Brian Burke and for Rich and Kathy Fetke on their deals, because they're actively raising money for them. But it didn't come across that way. It came across as pretty genuine. And then the crowd got a chance to ask all of them questions and everything else. So it was really cool. I was really impressed with that whole thing. And Brian in particular, he's kind of doing a one-off. This was really interesting. So he said he's doing a one-off, and they're doing senior care facilities where they're partnering with the operator. So they buy the real estate, and, they have 4 main operators that are really well known in the senior care space. They are aligning with them. And he said the yield on those things, the NOI was going to be about 5% higher, 5% in total. I'm talking almost 50% higher than you're seeing in other like multifamily, with regard to cap rates and all that. Right. Mm-hmm. So the interesting question that got asked by that LP, he goes, okay, you've never done one of these before. Why should I put money with somebody who's never done them before? Why don't I wait until you've got a couple of these under your belt before I invest with you? And Brian had a fantastic answer to that. He said, I think that is a really good way to look at it until you consider the fact that I have tried new things over and over and over again in different areas that I've never done before. And every single time in my track record has been a success. So the fact that I'm trying something new, you should gain comfort by my track record with other new things that I tried at one time. And I was like, what a great answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
like you can apply that to a ton of different conversations.
Yeah.
Especially when you're raising money from people, like, so I don't know. I was really pumped after that one. And then after that, they had like a little bit later, it was like the LP lounge. So everybody kind of went to the lobby bar in, it was Caesar's Palace where the event was. Everybody kind of hung out there, and there were probably, 50, 60 LPs there. So I just kind of infiltrated that whole conversation and met some just like really amazing people. And there were a mix of, people doing their own stuff, raising money, and then other people that wanted to invest, but they were completely clueless. Like we were hanging out with this one gal. Like she makes over $1 million a year just in her like exec level job. She's with like, I don't know, some financial services company. Just kills it. Complete moron when it comes to like, what do I put my money into? So she needs help, right? She's going around
like a lot of doctors.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So highly paid executive, does not have the time or interest to know all of the stuff that it's necessary to be an operator, but she wants to trust somebody. And that's why she was investing the time and getting to know the people there that actually were running their own deals and syndicating. Because she's like, I need to know I can trust somebody. I want to see they have a track record. I need to be able to put my money with them and make them, have them put it to work. It was just fascinating to hear that, like, spoken by people, because you hear that all the time when you're like, oh, so-and-so is raising money, like, oh, must be nice to have all those rich people. But they have a problem. They don't know where to put their money. They're not adept enough in that space or knowledgeable enough to actually do it themselves. So they need people like us if we're raising money and doing a syndication. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So super, super interesting little dynamic they had going there. I'd never been part of a little group dynamic like that before with LPs and GPs. Super cool.
How many podcast guests did you schedule?
I haven't had time, man. Dude, I'm in triage mode right now. People blowing me up at freaking 6 this morning about boilers are getting installed that I had no idea about today. Like, it was just, I have not had any time to get caught up.
Isn't that something your property manager should be handling?
What? No, dude. These are important, man. Like, I need to know when a whole boiler is going in. I've got an insurance cancellation that's 1 week away from happening until I get this installed. It's going to be me. Yeah. So it's happening today. I didn't know it. Nobody communicated it to me, and that really grinds my gears.
Oh, I hate when your gears get grinded.
So what? Okay, give me a takeaway from you. That was kind of my little pitch on my takeaway.
Well, I mean, one thing that really stood out to me is, in the REIA community, there's lots of gurus. Mm-hmm. And gurus are the people that come speak, and then they take a massive amount of money to teach you something.
Yeah.
Good or bad, it is what it is. And in our business model, we don't have paid from stage, but
sell from the stage.
From the stage, right? But nationally there is. And there was 45 speakers that were reviewed in this good, bad, and ugly session that went on for 2 hours, and 200 REIA owners in the room.
Oh, wow.
And so it was like, hey, I made this much money. I lost this many members because of him. They paid on time. They didn't pay on time. I loved the person. It was amazing content, but they didn't sell. I'd have them back, or vice versa. And it was really raw.
So it was kind of a blacklist.
It was a blacklist being created. And I guess they do it every year.
Wow.
And it was really interesting. And there's some names on that list that I actually knew.
No kidding.
Yeah. And
that you now know not to have come speak.
Well, no,
vice versa.
That I just knew, period.
Okay.
Yeah. And one thing I was like, man, there's got to be a model where it sustains growth for the REIAs. It isn't stealing money, and that there's a good coaching program out there. And I had a big moment. I had to put it all in my chat GPT, all my notes. And so I just literally brain dumped on it for like an hour with all my ideas, and came up with a concept that I'm pretty excited about launching here soon.
Which is?
I can't see it.
Why?
Because I'm inking a deal with a partner.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I already got a verbal acceptance, and gonna put something out there, and I'll let you know off air, and we'll announce it here in a couple weeks.
It's not fun, man. Come on. I gotta wait. I don't like waiting.
I had to take away. So, but if it wasn't for that one thing, I would be
really bummed. You must be Pickron.
Yes. Gosh, I was so like, I went to Bourbon Street, man, and like there's so many people. I met some great people, and we like walked down Bourbon Street. I'm like, no, it's like drinking, have some fun, let's party. Like, overall, besides meeting some really key good people, it overall was a very, very boring trip.
Yeah.
Who stays at Bourbon Street and said, yeah? I just never done a trip by myself.
Did you say like a whole bunch of them were like 60, 70 years old? I mean, they probably want to go to Golden Corral at 4:30 and then hit the sack at 8 p.m. I mean, maybe play some bocce ball. I mean, whatever.
As far as like REIA owners, there's like me and the Arizona REIA owner that are like literally with like the youngest there.
Yeah.
And at 45 years old.
Yeah.
And I think him and I were like a month apart.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, it was really interesting.
So good content. The nightlife maybe wasn't what you're used to, right?
I probably going to have at least 20 interviews coming out of it.
Good. See, I don't need to do anything.
There were, regardless of age and the people there, almost every single person there was a baller.
Really?
Yeah, huge portfolios.
You know what's cool, man, is so there was, I mean, really, it was like 3 people from besides me from Omaha, I think, that went.
That's unheard of because like our largest ever, we had like 30, didn't we?
Yeah, it was 20, 25, 30, something like that. But yeah, there were like 3 this year, and so I hung out a lot with Gerard Mangino, who we've had on the podcast here, and we had a great time. Had dinner and played a little craps, and I don't even know 3-card poker. I don't even know what I was.
Did you
doing.
see Austin Compton there?
Oh yeah, we hung out with Austin. Yeah. I have a hilarious story about him. Well, his entourage that he was with, but I'll save that for off camera. But yeah, man. Well, actually, I'll tell it. Okay. So his, I'm trying to remember who all went with him, but I think it was all his old staff. Yeah. So, I'm totally spacing on her name, and I feel bad, but because I sat by her at lunch. But she was out. They had like this Latin night or whatever.
Stephanie.
Yes. Yeah. And so they all went to this, and we all, we kind of like went our separate ways or whatever. And then the next day, I'm going in the lunchroom, right? Just grabbing the lunch with the whole BP crowd, and she's over there at a table. Gerard's like, hey, we're sitting over here, whatever. And so I went and grabbed my lunch because I was caught up in a conversation. I walk over and I look down and Stephanie's in a wheelchair. I'm like, what is going on? Because she was walking around totally normal. I saw a video of her. Yes. Yeah. So I guess she had a little mishap at the nightclub on Latin night or whatever. And anyway, I feel bad for her, but it was funny. I mean, I gotta be honest. It was just funny seeing what happened. But I hope she's healing up nicely. Hopefully nothing was broken. But
did he have Ben Cat at all?
I saw Ben Cat one time, and I was in a conversation, and I saw him walking down the hallway, and I was like, oh, I need to catch up with him. And then I just never did. He's just kind of like, I think he's just a lone wolf at conferences.
I don't know. I spent quite a bit of time at different BP cons.
Yeah, but it's like if you run into him type thing, not like, anyway, whatever, we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did hang out with some dudes from Des Moines, which I knew 2 of them that I met before, and then I met their group. And then just completely random, I'm sitting next to this dude also from Des Moines. I may have seen him before, but I've never had a conversation with him. He ends up being Alex Fleece's business partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They own like a couple Dairy Queens together and everything. Matt DeBoth is his name. Yeah. Real cool dude. Yeah, we talked multiple times and just hung out. I mean, really, really cool.
My mother-in-law just told me the other day, she's like, yeah, some kids went up to me and asked me for Dairy Queen gift cards, and because her name is Debbie Query and her plates say DQ. And she's like, oh, we don't own DQ because it says DQ on the back.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. DQ. I'm surprised that's not taken.
Yeah, they got PQ and DQ on her plates.
Well, I saw Chris Voss, which I know.
Did you talk to him?
No. I'm not that guy anyway. I don't rush up there and want to meet him.
Rush up there. I just didn't know if you had a chance to talk to him.
No, he was whisked away almost immediately.
I did read. Finally, Michael Kramer got a hold of his staff to get him on the podcast
and shot you down.
Yep.
Yeah.
They said he will only come on a podcast that he listens to.
Yeah.
So I was sad to hear that he doesn't listen.
So we need to find a way to hack into his earbuds and pipe in some REIA Radio content.
Would we get in trouble considering his FBI background?
Oh, that's probably the case.
Yes.
But anyway, so I thought I would mention a 3-pack today of Golden Nuggets. And the first one is, so this is I'm pretty sure it's been about a year since I've reread his awesome book that he had, the first
Never
one.
Split the Difference.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
And one of them is, so when you're dealing with a negotiating situation or just a conversation with somebody that has maybe an opposing goal as you, and you need to find resolution to it, he has a whole basically thing that he does where he wants the other person to get to a point where they say, that's right. And the concept is people want to be understood. They want you to see their side of it. And they don't want to have this back and forth and opposing thing and negotiation. So he seeks to understand, and then he repeats back to them what he heard in his words to reframe it and say, is this right? And they say, that's right. Then you've got a real collaboration, and it's not going to be a win-lose situation. It can be, I understand where you're coming from. If I were you, I would be feeling like this. He just gave some really good sound bites and examples of that, how to use it in a day-to-day conversation. And it's amazing. It is really amazing the results you can get out of that. So it's more the collaboration versus the back and forth or the argument side of things. Another thing he dropped is, and this is just kind of a quick tip, but he said when you're trying to Oh, that's funny. I haven't thought about that in a long time. But he has a lead in if he's trying to basically get someone to commit to something that he's asking them to do. He'll phrase it in a way where he'll say, would it be ridiculous for me to ask you? And then he asks him whatever he's going to ask him, right? Or I'm going to pitch you a ridiculous idea. And he'll phrase it that way. And then he'll lead into whatever he's describing. So he's disarming them with the hook and saying, would it be ridiculous if I did XYZ? Because it takes the edge off of the conversation, because people will be like, oh, okay, well, I'll listen to it if it's not, pitch me your thing and I'll let you know if it's ridiculous. So that was a really good reminder. And he says he got Jack Welch, the CEO of GE, General Electric, back, in the 90s or whatever, when he was in his heyday. And he got him to speak at Stanford by asking him in exactly that way. Would it be ridiculous for me to ask you to come to Stanford and speak at my MBA class or whatever? And then it ended up leading to him coming. Anyway, so that was a good one. And then another way, like if you're following up with somebody on something and they're ghosting you, non-responsive, you need a, yes, no, you're trying to sell. Have you given up on our project / deal / whatever it is? And you ask them, I'm assuming you've given up on this, or have you given up on this? And then you put the onus back on. They're going to feel bad, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're going to respond to you and at least give you the engagement to where you can get either a yes or a no out of them, and not just this endless loop of empty communication. So those are my 3 gold nugget takeaways out of that whole pitch, or hit that whole presentation you did.
Take notes, John. It works for us here at REIA Radio, and use that in your sales techniques to get sponsors.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. We are at the clock, and we've had a lot to talk about, but we're going to have more to talk about next week because there's a lot more to get out.
Yeah, a lot more to unpack.
Yes. So with that, Owen Dashner, where you see us out.
On behalf of Aiden Bear, that guy, REIA Radio, and Ted Kaasch, I'm Owen Dashner. You've been listening to the Real Estate Rundown.
Sign off.